Music, dance, theater. It's time to take a seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez. Hear from performers, producers, presenters, and creators who enrich our lives in the performing arts. Who's on stage? Here is Tom Alvarez to introduce you.
Hello, and welcome to On the Aisle with me, Tom Alvarez. My guest on today's episode is locally and nationally renowned artist Kyle Ragsdale. He's known for his distinctive paintings that are vibrant and interpretive. Join me now as I go on the aisle for a conversation with Kyle. Welcome, Kyle. I'm so happy to see you on this blustery, wintry day.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be inside, I guess.
Okay, so let's get into it. So I have the great pleasure of driving down Delaware Street occasionally, and then, I look up and there is a huge piece of your work on that corner of what is it, 16th Street.
16th and
right
Delaware.
Cat corner from the Harrison Art Center. And, I haven't seen you up there lately, but
no,
you're
I
up
was
there regularly, right?
Like usually fall. I have a show every November.
Mm-hmm.
This is maybe my 23rd time to have a show in November. And so right before that, usually sometimes September, October, it's
Okay.
up.
And for our listeners, what I'm talking, it's a big ass billboard.
Yes, it's very large, and if you're coming up Delaware, you see it. And
who gets that kind of exposure?
yeah,
Kyle?
I know, it's so great. I am very thankful, and I think this has been a year where I've been kind of looking back on. It's pretty amazing, and I guess in Indianapolis, I feel like to be able to do a job that you love and to do it over a long period of time and be able to make the kind of art you like to make. And I feel very thankful, blessed to have that opportunity.
Well, I want to be transparent and let our audience know that I am a huge fan. I have been since I first laid eyes on your work, and I don't even know when that was. We'll get into a bit about your background and all, but suffice to say, it makes my day when I see a piece of your art, whether it's at the state fairgrounds and the yearly art show. And it's surprising how much I run into your stuff, and I'll even be at people's homes and I'll see your work, and it's like always great fun. I collect art a bit, and so it's always great fun to see your work, or any artist that I know, and I can say to people, I know him, and then tell a little story and this and that and the other. So that's the fun of being, owning art and supporting artists in general. And I'm sure you've heard this a lot. People, it's the idea that your work can be a conversation piece.
Totally.
What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I this last weekend, I rented a truck and took a 6-foot by 8-foot painting to Richmond to drop it off for some people, and we were hanging it up in their house, and then they're like, do you want to see your other art? And they had maybe, I don't know, 15 or 20 other paintings from, like, some of them from a long time ago, and one that was on Good Bones that
Good Bones, the TV show.
Yeah, the TV show. And that's when they first saw my work, I guess. And but it's so cool to see, it in someone's home, like part of their lives, part of their stories.
And
sitting by where they have coffee and all that.
And that was one of my questions. How does it feel to be a brand and have a brand? A brand.
Well, I feel like I'm particular as an artist in that maybe you and I both like musical theater, and I feel like I'm the kind of artist somewhat like musical theater in that I like to tell stories, help people imagine and dream. I'm not so much like a political, or I'm not trying to provoke or trying to make you think a certain way. I'm more trying to help you imagine and dream and love, and I'm a different kind of artist maybe than, I don't know, more like a musical. If that makes, do you know if that makes sense?
You just expressed one of my main questions is that why is it that I relate to your art so much? Is because it's theatrical.
Yeah, it is theatrical.
It is storytelling, and it's intriguing, and it really speaks to me. And isn't that what great art is? And so, we were talking beforehand about why are you on this show, which covers primarily the performing arts, as a visual artist, and I explained to you that I don't want to go too far away in my mission to cover the performing arts, and yet, I've had visual artists like yourself, and fortunately there's a number of you actually that I've met and talked to who have a performing arts interest, if not a professional one. And so let's get into that right now. I saw your work on stage. You did set designs for Summer Stock Stage.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about that collaboration.
Yeah, that was kind of my. I was friends with Emily Holloway for.
And
since
she's the founder.
She's the founder, and
Christine
so
Holloway.
when we started, the first season, we were just making everything up. It was at Park Tudor, and I think I did it for maybe 16 seasons or something like that. But yeah, I remember going with Emily's husband Ben. We drove out and we found a 50s car in a dump, and we got it cut in half for grease. There were all these adventures, because it was very much like, let's make a show and we don't have anything. And but yeah, I did it for a long time. I was at a party last night, and one of probably like 2016, Chase Infinity, who's in all these award shows now, for I don't even know the movie, but she was in Summer Stock then, and now she's like,
really, Chase was?
Chase.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah,
I didn't know she was an alum.
Yeah, she
Wow.
she was. I remember her most from Pippin. She was the Ben Vereen character.
And she's an Indy native?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was showing pictures last night of her in that show, because she had a really great dress on for the Golden Globes that was amazing. But it's kind of, I don't know, interesting to know her from back then.
Well, yeah. You knew her when?
Well, I mean, I'm just a set
represent-
designer. I'm
Sure.
not. I'm in the background, but
Yeah, but nevertheless,
Yeah.
So, yeah, and she also, she's like a lot of Summer Stock alums who are on Broadway. And they're
Totally.
in films and television.
Yeah.
And,
there's a
and they got their start at
right.
Summer Stock.
yeah. Yeah. It's very fun to go
So how
see
many-
shows, and then you've known them since they were in high school.
Yeah, you can say you touched greatness when they were just getting started.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was a guy that was in he was Tony in West Side Story, and then we saw him on Broadway. He was the butler or something in Plaza Suite with Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick. So that was, I mean, it's fun to go to New York and see these kids like all grown up and doing awesome things.
So back then, what made you think that you could do set design? Like you said, you just fell into it.
You and I think both probably did all the things we loved. I was in theater I grew up in a rural small town in New Mexico, but did theater from probably junior high. I was in.
You're a theater kid.
Yeah, so I did.
Yeah.
I was a Von Trapp child. I was a tree in the Wizard of Oz. I was
Really?
in Up the Down Staircase. and then did speech and debate in high school, and did musicals. I was the music man. And then when I went to college, I kind of switched back to art, and but yeah, I grew up loving it. And then at Baylor University, I used to paint.
I'm sorry, Baylor?
Yes.
That's where you went to school?
Yeah,
Okay.
undergrad.
Okay.
They had this thing called All Universities Sing, and they're kind of like these 15-minute shows that sororities and fraternities would put on, and then the top 5 or 6 would perform at homecoming. But you could paint the backdrops for those, and they paid very well, and so you could make all the money you needed for your living expenses just by doing a couple of those shows. So I used to paint backdrops in college.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So and I love painting big, so it's
Why?
fun for me. I just feel more comfortable. Like if there were enough homes in Indiana that needed huge paintings, I would just paint huge paintings. It's just how I enjoy it.
Have you had commissions like that in
A
private
few.
homes?
Like the Gamebridge mural is pretty big. The mural on the canal is pretty big.
You have a mural in Cambridge? I've not seen that.
It's on the, it's actually, the original painting is only 2 foot by 16 foot.
Uh-huh.
But it's you have to go up to the nosebleed section. You're probably on the nice down bottom part, but on the top floor there's like above where you get your food and drinks.
Wow.
There's a
Very
long mural.
Of course, yeah. I've seen your work under the bridge when I
Yes.
walked and run.
We just fixed that up this not very long ago.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, it for I think its first 15 years, no one was tagging it, and then probably since COVID, a ton of graffiti was on it.
So
and
they covered it with something that resists all that?
yeah, this new thing, we got some product from California that is supposedly
They can
makes
wash it off?
Yeah.
That's good to know. What
Yeah.
goes into the thought process of people who do that?
Yeah, it was ironically, it's very weirdly, mostly like markers and stuff, but there was a lot of weird Christian, I go to church, but it was like weird Christian graffiti, like on the faces of people and stuff.
So were they insinuating that your work is evil or something?
I don't know. It was so weird. It was so
Ungodly,
weird.
the devil's handiwork.
Yeah, I don't know. It was very strange.
So
But
stupid.
anyway, we fixed it. It's
Well,
better now.
But graffiti artists can make the art. Well, we're artists too, so everything's a canvas.
I totally respect that. I think in the olden days, Shannon Linker used to say that people will tag blank walls, but they won't tag walls with art on them. And something happened in the last, I think partially maybe construction is on the canal right now.
Yeah.
And so there's not as many people around all the time.
Yeah.
So maybe that's given people opportunity.
I thought graffiti was going to become sort of passé, but it hasn't. I mean, it's still decades still? Or
Well, this isn't really graffiti as the art. This
It's
is just people just like writing dumb
yeah.
stuff on there
Okay.
with a marker,
Okay.
mostly.
And symbols and
Yeah.
business like that.
rubbing out people's eyes.
So I'd rather talk about your art.
Yes.
Anyway, so you'll notice on this show I pivot a lot.
That's
I
good.
love, I want this show to be like, you're sitting in a bar or cafe and you overhear this conversation and you lean over. It's like,
Right.
oh God, who are those guys? What's up with those two? I love it. So, you all actually had this long history, and I don't know how. By the way, why did you quit painting the sets at Somerset Stage?
And I did 2020. I think it grew past my skill set, and I think they're using younger, more. I think they're using a more diverse ethnic body to build the work, which is great, and also a lot more people from outside of Indiana are coming here to
then of
build
course
their
they've
work.
got bigger budgets, so they can hire
Totally.
set designers and construct things.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And I think
Video.
one big thing is video. I'm not. That's not in my skill set at all.
Yeah.
And they like a bunch of the shows now are using projection and stuff, and which
It's here to stay too, and I'm
Yeah.
just seeing some just incredible stuff, hybrid,
Totally.
sets and
Yeah,
incorporated
it can look
with
so
video.
good. Yeah,
Wow, and who does?
I'm more lo-fi.
Zach Rosing and his
Yes.
brilliant work is all over town.
I love Zach.
mean, and I started seeing it in New York and Broadway, but then it wasn't that long ago that IRT started using it as well.
Yeah.
But back to who else did you collaborate with? Didn't you do Phoenix Theater as
Yeah,
well? Tell me all the theaters that you've done work with.
I think that's it. Maybe Phoenix. I did Lovebird. Jolene Moffat directed Lovebird, and that was such a fun show to do.
Remind me of Lovebird.
K.T. Peterson wrote it. It's Scott Greenwell.
Is this the black box at the?
It was
Phoenix
in the
Cultural
in the
Center?
bigger theater.
Oh, the bigger theater.
It was a great, beautiful show, and we loved.
Oh yeah, I remember.
The two birds on the
Oh
island.
yeah, very quirky.
Very, very quirky.
And didn't Anthony James Sirk design the costumes or not?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a very, very cool show, and
I remember.
yeah, I love doing that show. I've done, like, long ago when Phoenix was at the old place, I did some
church.
Christmas shows there.
Mm-hmm. The very
And-
Phoenix Christmas.
Yes, and I did a show, something about Louis de Rougemont. Chuck was in it, and it was
Chuck Goad.
yeah,
Okay.
it was it a one-person show? This is many years ago, but it was a very cool show.
Well, no wonder. Now I'm thinking back. No wonder I was drawn to you like so many theater artists because you were a theater kid.
Totally.
I didn't know.
And
that.
I still, Mike Moffat and I do shows at Cathedral. That he's the
Okay.
tech director
And
there.
he was
and
on the show with Jolene.
Yes, yeah, he did the
Yeah.
lights, and he and I have worked together. Well, we did summer stock together for many years, and then we still
course.
work together at Cathedral. I'm designing a Joseph right now for the spring, and
What satisfaction do you get working in that genre theater, educational theater?
oh, I love it.
Well, it's summer stock, same thing.
It is,
That age group.
Mike Moffat is such a great. He's just a brilliant teacher, and
Does he
really has
carry
created.
Does he carry that legendary patience that he has
Yeah.
into the classroom?
Well, and he's just created a culture where students are teaching students, and this is a very good instance of why he is so awesome. That maybe last year or the year before, at the beginning of class, they were playing a game on the stage, and he tripped and busted his hip. And then, so he was out for maybe 6 weeks, and they had my designs, but the students built 2 shows without him, did the lights, did the, you know what I mean? Like all the sets, built it, made it happen, and he wasn't there, but they knew how to do it.
That's a
It's
testimony.
I mean, in
That's
most
a-
places, getting high school students, you need a lot of coercion to get them to.
I know he has descendants around town, just like Brian Fonseca has
Totally,
descendants.
yeah. Well,
And
he's created a great culture.
I believe, I may be this, but I'm pretty sure that Casey Ross the director, actor. You know, she has her own theater group.
Mhm.
Michael Moffat was her teacher at Cathedral. So
Well, yeah,
he
he
was a big inspiration to her.
yeah, he's just a great guy.
Yeah. That's Jolene.
Yeah, I
you've
love
worked-
Jolene.
You've worked in shows that she's
Yeah.
been in. Well, you mentioned, was it Sweetbird?
Um,
Or whatever, Bird something.
Lovebird.
Lovebird. Okay. So you did all that. You worked physically.
I used to design for the IRT for 10 years.
That's what I'm going to talk about. You
Yeah.
did the program covers.
I loved it
original
so
paintings that
much.
they
I
used.
loved it.
Oh, and I loved it too because, you know, as a reviewer,
Yeah.
you know, the fact that you captured the essence of those shows, you know, and in the classic, the world of illustration, magazine illustration, the old-fashioned when
Yeah.
you would have original work presented as the illustration rather than photographs.
Right.
And your assignment was to capture the essence of whatever it was in a drawing or
Yeah.
a painting, and that you did that. I always loved seeing the work and then seeing the show and seeing how they match.
Right,
You
yeah.
know, for me, that was cool.
Yeah, and the
Wasn't that harrowing for you though to get
Um,
it right, or was
uh,
there a question of getting it right? Was it your impression?
Well, it was so fun to. I've originally, when it was with Janet, I would get these scripts and I would read them, and then, you know, I would start making paintings, and it is a kind of crazy thing. It's not happening anymore, but kind of crazy thing. You would send a painting in a picture, and then there was a committee, and and so there's a lot of
I'm
people
mad
that
for
have
this
a
one.
lot of input on don't do this, do that, more of this, and advertising. And so sometimes it would be like really easy, and sometimes it would go back and forth a lot.
How was that for you?
Sometimes great, sometimes hard, and
know,
but also thrilling. There was one James Still play. Now I can't remember the name of it, but where the woman in the play is wearing a hijab, and theater people were telling me that girls were taking pictures in front of it with hijabs. I think because they felt seen and noticed, and so that's kind of really awesome.
That's very awesome.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? I mean, the committee stuff. You know,
It's very hard.
it is because art is so subjective, and then you get these people who like. I don't know. They all have different agendas, and some are micromanagers, and you know, some don't know what the hell they're talking about,
Right.
And whatever. And you have to. But you know, I know a lot of graphic artists who tell me that you know they're used to maybe getting 10 revisions of the same
Yeah.
logo,
Jeez.
and they've learned to have a thick skin and not be precious.
I'm not like that. Yeah, I almost don't. I did like maybe 7.
Did you ever say at one point enough?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I do.
Do it my way.
Yeah. I did maybe 7 commissions this last, in Christmas time, and at some point it just makes me just like, yeah. So
You mean
I'm
they
less and
commission-
less,
They commission you and they tell you exactly what they want
Right.
to put over their couch or whatever.
and it's usually it's usually the teeny tiniest ones, for the least amount of money, that want the
Well, of
most
course.
changes.
Of course.
And you're making this little tiny painting and trying to change it, 5 times. I'm more and more saying, and I mean, there's certain people that like my art and want me to make art like what I do,
Right.
and that is very comfortable, and I'm happy to do that. But I'm less and less interested in, yeah.
Yeah. Well, my work in production, I've learned that I have enough I have enough decisions. I'm a control freak, but I have enough decisions to make. I don't need to micromanage every single detail.
Well,
I mean,
and I guess it's like trusting the person that's making
Yeah.
this stuff, that they know how, that they've been doing it for a long time and they know what they're doing.
That's what I love about the collaboration when you get another artist involved. But
Yeah.
it's always a joy when you hit upon somebody who gets it, who
Totally.
gets your vision.
That's what, yeah, Lovebird was like that. We were all on the same page. We all loved, each other's work, and
That's the magic of
totally
collaboration.
magic. Yeah, there's another, last year maybe, we did a show at the Harrison Center, a collab show where you would do art with someone else in the building, and so my friend Johnny McKee, who his work is up there right now, he and I would, like, I would work on a painting and then put it at his door like a little Christmas present, and then he would work on it the next day and then put it on, by my door, and so back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it was so fun. But it does take, like, that it has to be someone you trust, someone that you think they do good work, and someone that if you can't be worried about messing their thing up. You kind of have to have a give and take relationship,
Yeah. Do you find, let's just speak generally, how do you view your colleagues is there an Indianapolis art scene?
Oh, yeah, I feel very, very, very thankful. I think I've been at the Harrison Center since 2001. And we have I think,
Wow.
beautiful community.
It's been that long?
Yeah, I've been the curator since 2001.
You're
So-
the curator.
Yeah.
And what does that mean?
So I help choose the art that goes into the galleries, and then I actually hang the shows in the Harrison Gallery and the annex right next to it. And I've been doing that since 2001.
Oh my goodness.
So it's a lot. And
So you hang,
weirdly,
right?
weirdly, we change 8 galleries most every month all year long. So a ton. And usually I would say most of the artists are not from in our building. They're, from all around, mostly just Indiana. And we've been doing that this whole time. So we change a lot of art.
I'm going to digress for a minute. Do you remember, help me remember, I hope that you were still around, but there was someone, and I can't remember his name, and I'm going to, oh gosh.
I've
I'm gonna give him a
met
shout
at
out. The Indianapolis Museum of Art.
Mm-hmm.
That was his job, to hang the work. And what was his name? He was legendary.
Oh, I don't
He
know.
may have been after your time, but sadly, it's been some time. But I just adored him, and his standards were very, very high, and
Mhm.
he was just totally meticulous about every single inch of those galleries and what should hang where and
yeah.
how. He was very.
It is a lot like set design,
Mhm.
actually, designing how a show goes.
You got an Irish laugh. I'll think of it.
Yeah, you think of it. I do not
I'll
know.
wake up tonight and damn it. Okay, anyway, I want to give him a shout out. I don't know if there's anybody around. Well, I'm sure there are. But so the Harrison Gallery, I have been there and I've visited you in your studio. And one of my favorite things to do, unfortunately, because I'm always in a theater or concert hall, I
Yes.
don't make it to galleries as much as I used to,
Yeah, you should come by. So every first
Oh,
Friday,
I always say that.
6 to 9, we are there, and 4 times a year, all the studios are open. So, and there's, wine and food sometimes.
Here's
and-
something you should know. I have a new friend in town. I'll give him a shout out because he's someone, I don't know if you met him. You may have, and we'll name drop. His name is Ray Lyman. He's Venezuelan born. And he when he was in Venezuela, he's a journalist, and he is a newscaster, broadcaster for Telemundo.
Okay.
And he is obviously bilingual, but he is an art he's passionate about art.
Mm.
He said he started collecting art from the time he was 14.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, he had to leave Venezuela. He was banished because he spoke up against Maduro and the regime. And now he's in India. Long story, but he's starting collecting art again. He found his way to the Harrison Center, and for him, it's been a gold mine.
Oh, yeah, there's so
And
much
I
good
asked him
things.
if he was in your studio, and he said yes.
Oh,
so
cool.
we had a lot of fun talking about that and
Yeah.
your work, So, but that's what I wanted to talk to you about, because this is a good opportunity to encourage folks. Like, I've been encouraging younger people, get this time, you're not in college anymore, get rid of those prints.
Yeah.
Start collecting, just you can buy inexpensive stuff
Totally.
from artists who start collecting so that you can experience what it's all about.
Totally. And once you kind of find what you love, it does really transform your life, I think. We have at our house kind of a bad addiction. I get kind of a I get money from the Harrison Center as a bonus to buy art. So we have so much art that I changed
One
the
can
art in our
never
house.
have too much
Right.
art,
Well,
though.
we have a closet that's just full of art, and I change the art in our house maybe six
That in
times a
itself
year.
is creative.
Yeah. Well, and
Changing up your
and
art.
then you when you move things around like
Yeah.
that, you see them again. You
Yeah,
know,
but-
like if you just live with it every day, you kind of get used to it and you don't notice it. But when you change it and move it, and that's just. I also
Yeah.
love curating. I love connecting things and putting things together, and I think that's something I really enjoy, is what's next to what and how it tells a story together. And
So again, for those listeners young people, who are just like starting to make money, I'm sure you've been around all of the folks I'm speaking of, the kind of folks I'm speaking of. There's oftentimes too an insecurity.
Yeah.
What if if I put this up in my house, it's going to be a reflection of me, and I don't want to come off looking like I don't, that I'm pretentious, or that, maybe all those insecurities. Can you address that? How do you help people?
Yeah,
get
I think
through that kind of
if
stuff?
you just look to find
your
things,
taste,
find what you love, and there's so much good affordable art in Indiana, and people that are making things. It's like a local restaurant. And I think if you go after picking things that you love, they just enliven your room. They enliven your house, and they make you think more.
You got to know what your motivations are. Are you hanging art to impress others?
Yeah.
Or are you hanging it because it makes you feel good?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could do either. You can do both. It does depend on your life goals, and but I think you'll always be happy with art that you buy.
Mm-hmm. What I love about art in my home is there's a story.
Yeah,
to each piece.
you remember where you got it.
That, and I know the artist, the day I bought it,
Yeah.
why I bought it. I don't know. It took me a while, but I learned to, and of course a lot of it has to do with my professional work. I know what I like, and I can't explain why. I don't need to explain.
Yeah.
I just like it. It makes
Yeah.
you feel good, right?
Yeah,
And
I
that's
think,
enough.
Yeah, I oftentimes mine. Well, I think I make work that has kind of the beginning of a story, and then you're not sure what's going to happen or what's going on, and it's so fun to hear families talk about the work and what their kids think this means. And and oftentimes I've made paintings for new babies and stuff, and so they learn animals by what's in the little boat, and they talk about their little ballet dancer or their dog in the boat, and that's some of their
so
first
cool.
conversations.
So I wish this was a video podcast just so that we could show the work.
Yeah.
You know, I come from a TV background, and you know, of course, I did that for years. But it's like really interesting. I love it. Just having a podcast where it's audio only, and yet when I think about it, people can imagine what we're talking
Right.
about.
Yeah.
And I think you and I both know the power of one's imagination.
Yeah, totally. Well, and you could go to harrisoncenter.org
Yeah.
and look through past shows of my work.
Well, they could do it if they're listening to this on their iPhone.
Yeah.
They could go over the website right now and
Yeah,
see what we're
it's
talking
up.
about.
They just
What's your
updated
website?
it.
What is
My
it?
website is KyleRagsdale.com, but the Harrison Center has shows of my work from the last, I don't know.
Okay, well, folks, I'm telling you right now, imagine
20 years,
technology. Go right over to that website right now and look at the work.
Yeah,
we're
you
talking
got
about.
Harrison Center, Buy Art, and then past shows,
Yeah.
and it goes
And
way.
you will see when I ask you to describe your themes that you become known for. You have, shall I call it? I may be incorrect in this, the vocabulary, but you have a motif.
Yeah,
And is that correct? Do you have a motif?
I think it changes. I think I have
you
short
like
attention.
top hats and tall guys.
Yeah, well, and this last year, they kind of looked kind of rococo. There were these big tents
Yes.
and animals and
Yeah.
people hiding in these, or inside these tents.
They're very mysterious.
Yeah, mysterious.
And as I said, very intriguing.
Yeah, I like that, making you
Impressionistic.
wonder.
Yeah.
And,
Dreamy. They're dreamy.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it goes back to that thing of musical theater. I'm not a musical. I like an old musical, and it gives you things to dream about, wonder about, hope for. I'm not provocative necessarily.
How long have you been painting professionally, would you say?
Oh, well, I've been painting since my parents got me art lessons when I was in third grade.
Wow.
And so I did art lessons.
How did they know you have talent, or did
I
you
think-
just pick up a brush one day and said, I want to paint?
There's interesting, Terry Gross was on some show last week, and I saw a little snippet of this interview, and she said a lot of people that are famous at things were really sickly as children, and they had to entertain themselves with something, and that is the thing that became their passion. And when I was little, I had asthma and pneumonia and all these. I was sick a lot in my house, kind of entertaining myself with drawings. My mom didn't give me coloring books. She gave me plain paper, and I would just draw and draw and draw and draw
With
and draw.
pencils?
Yeah,
Pens?
yeah. And this isn't.
Line drawings?
I think until the classes, and then I started doing watercolor and then acrylic, and and kept going. So, and went to undergrad at Baylor and then graduate school at SMU in Dallas, and been painting ever since.
Did you go to Baylor because it had a great art department, or not?
I think my mom had gone there very briefly, and then she always wanted me to go there, and I kind of didn't know where I wanted to go, and it
Where
was
is
very
Baylor,
close.
Texas?
Yeah, Waco, Texas.
Okay.
So I was in Duncanville, so it's just an hour and a half drive.
So Duncanville, Texas?
Yeah.
Where's your Texas accent?
I grew up in New Mexico until I was
okay.
16, and then we moved when I was a junior in high school.
So you don't have a drawl.
No. I think I can. My mom can acquire it depending on who she's talking to, and I sometimes fall into it too.
Oh, so she's Texan.
Yeah.
Texas.
I was born in El Paso and then moved to Farmington, New Mexico, and then Dallas, and then Waco, and then Fort Worth, and then I moved here in '93.
What brought you here?
This is a funny story. I was talking with someone yesterday. A friend of mine from here, I met when I was at in between undergrad and graduate school, he and I met. But he's from a wealthy family, and he was in law school here, and he bought a house in Meridian Kessler, and he invited all these guys from Texas to come live in his big house here. And so I moved here in 93.
What area on Meridian? Which block?
5254 Delaware.
There's some nice houses.
So it was, all doctors and lawyers around us,
yeah.
and these totally young guys living in this cool house. And so my first 4 years in Indiana, I painted in that garage.
Wow.
And I had my first art show at Cath Coffee across from Atlas.
Oh, yeah.
And then I moved into College Court next to Yats. And when Joe just opened Yats, I painted a painting of Joe that's still there, I think, and he would give me free food in exchange for my painting.
I lived in that area when I was brand new to town. I loved Sobro.
Yes, it was great.
Back then they didn't call it Sobro.
Yeah.
But it was not actually, it was Broad Ripple, though. That
Yeah.
part was Broad.
And I used to, walk down
In
to the Red
Atlas?
Key. Yeah.
That, for those who don't know, David Letterman used to sack groceries. in
Yeah, it
Atlas
was
at
a
the
very
time.
cool place. It was
Oh,
very
it was
quirky.
Very cool. The owner's, what was the owner's name? Sid and his
Sid,
wife?
was it Sid? Yeah, I think
Something
you're right.
like that, yeah.
That was old school history.
Yeah, really. And now what's there? Yeah, fresh time.
Yeah.
Fresh time. And Tim Brickley has Hit City across
Yes,
the street.
yeah.
In the Jazz Kitchen for
Right.
those who want a reference.
Yeah.
And all.
Yeah, I
That's
used
a
to
cool-
live in that apartment right next to well, now it's condos, I think.
And I know exactly where that place is because my friend Ann, the nurse, who she was a young nurse, lived there, and it was Party Central
Mhm.
for young people.
Yeah, that was a fun
It was
time.
a very cool place. How long did you live there?
4 years.
Yeah. I love all those on that part of town, those cool corners.
Yeah.
Like 49th and Penn was a
Mhm.
cool corner.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
yeah, it was special. It still is.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So, okay, that's why you came to Indy. And
Yeah, and
why did you stay?
The people, kindness of the people, I think. Yeah, I think I believe in God, and I think I think it was just a good like moving me to this place, and I feel like I have thrived as an artist and gotten to do everything I wanted.
Do you know? Let's try to pinpoint that here. I mean, come on. I'm sure this happens in other communities, but I hear this consistently about people who came from other places and came here, and and stayed. And
Right.
why? This is what we're
Well,
talking
and I
about.
think that it's very interesting. I think if you're from here, you always want to get away. Like that, there was that movie, I can't remember where they filmed it at the Red Key, where you always
Going away.
where
Get in my way. Or wait, get.
I can't remember, but anyway.
Going my way? No,
No.
that's the Bing Crosby movie. I know what you're talking about.
Anyway,
Ben
but
Affleck was in it.
everyone wants to get away from here,
Yeah.
but I think if you come here,
Going all the way.
yes,
Yes.
I think you want to. I think if you come here, you recognize the beauty of it and see the goodness of Hoosiers and.
Is there such a thing as Hoosier hospitality?
Totally.
And, how do
And
you
actually, my
describe it?
mural on the canal is called Hoosier Hospitality on the Boatload of Knowledge,
Oh, wow.
based on that.
What's your definition of Hoosier hospitality?
I think it might be a little reserved at first, which is different. Like, I think Texas hospitality might be more friendly at first and then may be more reserved. And I think Hoosier hospitality is more slow but kind. And I think at least on our block, this is an interesting thing of Hoosier hospitality. So for maybe 18 years, there's 9 families on our block have had dinner together every Sunday night
And where is this?
in Fountain Square.
Okay, that's your neighborhood.
And so the kids have grown up from babies, and some of them are in college now, and now there's new young babies, but we're in each other's homes every week, and we've been doing this for a long time. It's just part of our life. But I feel like there is just kind of a goodness of people here.
I'm from Fort Wayne, okay, and the only reason I'm here is there are more choices. I
Yeah.
love growing up in Fort Wayne. It had a vibrant arts community then and still now, and very supportive and all that. That's where I studied theater. I went to school up there, but I'm from Indiana, so I take it for granted. But so I always love the perspective of people like you. And it seems to me that there's so many creative people who got past that notion, who tried LA and New York, and they end up here,
Yeah.
and they love it. And we talk about, from a professional standpoint, for me, I've had the opportunity to just have so many I've done so much great work here that I'm very proud of, but I doubt that I would have had some of the same opportunities in a larger market
Totally.
with more competition.
Exactly.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that, and I'm trying to debunk that myth on this show. I talk about a lot. Good art is made everywhere, and
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be New York, Chicago, LA, or larger markets. We've got artists here who can go toe to toe with anybody, anywhere.
Yeah.
And whoever's listening to this around the country, you can hear it from me now. Indy, it's a great place, a startup place.
Yeah.
If you want to start a theater or an art gallery, or you name it, as an artist, this is a damn good place. 'Cause
Yeah.
people will support you.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Totally.
Mhm.
Well, and I think I look at the people from my graduate program, that many of them are not still making art just because there weren't opportunities for that kind of beginning part of your career. And even, I just think I've had a lot of chances to try a lot of things. And
There's, it's about possibilities here.
Yeah.
You see other people. Like for instance, when for those who listen to me regularly, I always repeat this, but I can't emphasize enough about the point I'm trying to make. I was in a living room when Brian Fonseca pitched the Phoenix to about 10 of us. And said, I want to do this theater, I want to do this kind of work, and I really would like your help. Would you guys help me? And we raised our hands, and now when I walk into that multi-million-dollar theater, I think about that. And
Yeah.
I know anything is possible.
yeah,
You
Totally.
And he always used to say, surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
Find your tribe, your peeps.
yeah,
Did you find your peeps?
yeah. Well, and I think I am so thankful to be at the Harrison Center, and it's a very.
Let's talk about that. Let's give a shout out to the visionary who started all this.
Oh, Joanna.
Yeah, Joanna, for those who don't know Joanna, go tell her. What's
Yeah,
her last name?
Taft. And she, I was at the Stutz for 1 year they gave her free residency, and she,
Stutz.
yeah, she said, she came from more like a government background, and
That's right.
more like historic preservation
And again,
and things
the
like
Stutz,
that.
for those who have no clue what the Stutz is or was.
Oh, well, the Stutz is pretty cool now, differently cool. It used to be like 40 or 50 artist studios were in there, and they gave away one free studio every year. And
It was a former car factory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She invited me to come to the Harrison Center to be the curator and to have my studio there. And I actually lived in the basement. This is 2001, so it was
Yeah.
a very different neighborhood than it is now.
No kidding.
And also that building had been abandoned for a long time, so we used to, in those days, catch a lot of mice. And
It was called Dodge City.
yes,
You
Dodge
drove through
City.
there, you
Yes.
gotta be careful not to get shot.
Yeah, and it was way wilder then, but it's Joanna has really been persistent and working hard and keeping it going and raising money and it's become kind of a center for entrepreneurial kids and kind of a mix of community development, like
Is she
caring
still
for the
there?
neighbor. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, caring for the neighborhood and knowing
She's
the
got
neighborhoods.
people doing visits on their porches. There's a whole
Yeah,
program, right?
yeah, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Were her
What's
initiatives.
that called? The porch?
Porching, yeah.
Yeah. You
Well,
and your neighbors do that up on
We
Fountain
totally,
Square,
we
don't you?
totally do that, and I think when you have a front porch and you're on your porch, you actually talk to your neighbors.
And the idea is to actually invite your friends and host porch parties.
Yeah.
To get to know people.
Well, that's part. I think that's part of our culture of our block that
Mhm.
people are actually.
You all know each other.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
I've taken a page of that. I moved to Hallville. I'm trying to create
Oh,
community.
nice.
I know all my neighbors.
That's so cool.
Oh, yeah. It's Brian Fonseca lived next door, and that's how
Oh,
I
my
got
goodness.
there. Long story, but
That's
it's,
great.
I'm there because of him and because I'm learning Spanish through all
Ah.
of my immigrant neighbors.
That's something I'm working on too, is trying to learn Spanish.
Yeah, moved to Hallville. Yeah. No, I have a lot of Mexican, and I'm Mexican American, but English was my first language, and I've always had a yearning to connect with my peeps, my
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
And now this is my immersion.
That's
I
so
get
good.
a chance to talk Spanish to a lot of people, grocers and, people in the businesses. It's good and bad for that because a lot of immigrants don't have to learn English if they're surrounded with businesses and everything, but their
Yes.
kids know it.
Right.
And so, anyway, I digress, but it's
Mhm.
like that. So it sounds like we have the same kind of sensibilities. of,
Yeah, a lot of things.
community.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about you've been able to make a living, but what's the struggle part and then the rewards part?
What's the struggle part?
Can you do it in India? I guess. It's like,
Yeah, I
you
think-
proved it.
I do feel like sometimes, I guess one thing I would say to some young artists, there's not as many millionaires here as you might think. And I think to be able to live as an artist here, you might have to sell your work at a lower price point, or at least have some options of things that normal people can afford, just because I kind of say to people, make art that your friends could buy. Just there's not this huge concentration of wealthy people that are buying art. And
What do you consider? What's your price point range?
totally. I have and I just had a show in November of 104 paintings, and I think we sold 60, and there were some that were $100 and some that were $4,500. So, but there were a lot of them that were like
Yeah.
150 little baby paintings that were good, that people love.
And they all had your motifs in them.
Yeah, and I think, I try to make, I want my friends to be able to buy it.
Is that unusual in your business?
I think so, but I've kept my prices. Actually, up until maybe last 5 years, when I moved here, I was selling art in Fort Worth, and my work was selling for like really high points because that was the market in Fort Worth. There's a ton of millionaires everywhere, and my work was way more expensive there than it is now.
Kyle, do you have an online business?
Not really.
You could if you wanted to. That's a lot
Yeah,
of work.
I just have a lot. I'm not very technically savvy, and I mostly sell local.
Mm. And have you ever had a desire to do what Andy Warhol did? And he had, his stuff. He had stats of people replicating his stuff in a factory.
Yeah, I have never done that, but I do paint quickly.
Do you do
and I paint a
all
lot.
your stuff?
Not really.
No? It's all
I
original.
do make prints, but they're like one of a kind kind of prints where I'm doing the printmaking.
Like 100, and you get this is one or a third of it.
Yeah, but where you're putting the plates on the paper and moving it around. So I haven't really made print copies for the most part.
That's a whole thing that keeps you from actually painting. How much time do you spend painting? Do you paint every
it's
day?
really kind of dependent on the time of year. Probably as I'm getting ready for my show every November, I'm painting, day and night for probably 4 months. But throughout the rest of the year, I'm doing a lot of other stuff. So right now I'm working on designing play for Cathedral, and I'm,
What's the play?
Joseph.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not a real huge fan of Joseph, but I do love
either. I've seen it about 6 times, and I'm over it. I've seen that coat.
Yeah. But I think kids will love doing it.
Yeah, but think about that. I can imagine what you're doing with the coat of many colors.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be really fun.
When is that?
I think April-ish.
Okay, well, when this airs, there'll be plenty of time for people to think, I may come see that, because I've always wanted to see a Michael Moffat Cathedral production.
Yeah,
and I know you're part of the
Yeah, we've been doing it probably 10 years, I imagine.
Uh-huh. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so why should people support local artists in general?
Oh.
Including you, of course.
Yeah, I just think like you said, there are a lot of great artists in Indy doing good work. And I think it's great to support artists so that they can stay in Indiana is one good thing. And also I think it's part of your community, like being part of, keeping local. You would want to keep a local restaurant going. It's good to keep local art going too.
Speaking of restaurants, I meant to ask you this. What do you think about... Well, listen, why don't you hang your stuff in my restaurant and you could sell it here? What do you think about that?
Oh my gosh. Well, that's been, I think early in my career, I think I listened to a motivational tape and something about just try things and see if it works for you. Yeah. Especially as an artist. I think in Indiana, I think you have to always hustle and try new things and see what works for your art and your brand. And one of my very successful chapters, there used to be a restaurant in Broadville called Zest, and they always had my art for the whole life of that restaurant. And some people bought their first art there, and I was in the newspaper. There was a picture of me in there. There was an article about buying art in restaurants. I think it's kind of one of those things where you're sitting there eating and you can imagine this art in my place, with me.
So it does work.
It's worked for me. I think it depends on your kind of art. And used to be, I would show art at Patachou's, and I just had
Martha
a little.
Hoover?
Yeah.
Does she have any of your work?
I do not know. Okay. Maybe. But there's an eye surgery center of Indiana right down here. They have my art everywhere. He's been collecting my art since.
Come on, drop names. Who are some of the big names in town that have Kyle Ragsdale?
Well, I don't even. Well, Paul Walton has been collecting my art for 30 years, and the eye surgery center on the north side.
Sure.
There probably is 40 paintings of mine in that building.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, I don't even know
And your
who are the
work
old
has been
people.
seen nationally, though, on that show.
Yeah,
And
well,
did you get sales from that?
tons of all over the country.
How
people.
did they buy it? Did you send them a picture? Or what
No,
how
people
did you
would
do
see
that?
it on the show, and then they would email me and try to find it, and then send it away.
How cool is that?
I think too the Harrison Center.
Marketed it.
Yeah, well, and they have a new thing since COVID
Yeah.
probably, where people can buy online, and people are buying from like California and different, not just
Well, that
Indiana.
reminds me of like black artists whose work was shown on the walls of the Huxtables
Yeah.
in the TV show. I'm blanking on the name of
Yes.
the show.
I mean, too. We all watched it, right?
We need to get some Prevagen. Well, this has been so much fun. I mean, over the years, I've watched your career. I've seen your stuff everywhere, as I mentioned, and you've really made a huge contribution to your art form, but just to the whole idea of taking the mystique away from buying art and making it more, democratic and accessible, And I find this with the performing art. I'm trying to educate people that you don't have to behave a certain way, dress a certain way, act a certain way to go to a symphony concert or any performing arts. If they're welcoming, and you seem to be a really welcoming presence in the art world.
Thank
you don't
you.
put on airs. You're not purposely, eccentric because you're supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
just seem to be, and I think, but that's the theater, don't you think?
Right.
So if we didn't mention, though, let's talk about why people should support the theater as well.
Well,
And all kinds of theater, not just
all
professional.
kinds of theater, and there's such good shows happening and in lots of different theaters here in Indiana, and
Is that as remarkable as we think it is, though? The
I think
variety
so.
and of
yeah, I've seen some
theaters?
amazing shows. Even I don't even, the one that's at the bookstore where they
Indie Reads?
yeah, they do. I can't something playground
They do
where they do
readings and
readings of plays that the actors get the script, they open the script and read the play in the bookstore, and they're just kind of reading it blind.
Yeah.
It's such a fun, and you're getting to see shows like that's very lo-fi, but there's all kinds of great theater going on here all the time.
Yeah. Do you ever get out of town? Do you go to New York?
Yeah, I'd love to.
See stuff?
Yeah, I have,
Chicago?
Not as much Chicago, but I go to New York probably every probably once
Is
or twice a
anybody
year.
showing your work in New York, representing you?
No, well, I've been in a couple group shows. There's a very painter-centric show that I've been in a couple times in the Bowery Gallery.
Mhm.
That's more like something you apply to.
Mhm. Is there still stuff of yours there?
No, just I was in a show there last August.
Do you have any shows coming up that we could talk about?
Not
Here, locally.
Not really. I just got a big commission for something that I'm not allowed to talk about yet,
Okay.
but that will be in a cool place coming up.
Are you at the airport?
I have been.
No
I hope to be.
permanent pieces there.
No permanent pieces, but I had a cool mural on the Southwest Airlines side for a couple years during
Really?
COVID. Yeah, I was.
Well, maybe someday you'll be like Holder and you'll paint a whole plane. Would you?
I would like. I loved having my work at the airport. It's so fun.
Yeah. So many so many other areas that I know that you're kind of a generalist, though. As an artist, you kind of have to be, don't you?
Well, I don't know that you have to, but I
Not
think
have to be, but
but
you
I
are.
enjoy trying a lot of. I get bored with stuff and like to try different things, and yeah, I'm very thankful to get to, do a play and then make a painting
How
for
about
someone.
subject matter? Do you ever do you change? Well, you do. You
Yeah,
change
pretty
it,
much every year. Last year, 25, I was doing those tents, but the year before I was painting Mexican cowgirls. So
Really?
Yeah.
Charos?
yeah, With the big dresses.
Oh yeah,
I love them.
Sights out on the
Yes,
horses.
I love them.
Really?
That's like one of my favorite.
Well, you know,
things.
because I'm like I've been on my Mexican cultural kick here.
Yeah, you and me
like,
the same.
really passionately in the last couple of years. I just did a show, Cabaret Latino, and I'm learning Spanish, and the Facebook algorithm is sending me all this Mexican stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Including charros.
Yeah, I love them.
Well, again, this has been an absolute delight. You'll have to come back. I really mean that. Our thanks go out to our media sponsor, Urban Times. Urban Times is a monthly news magazine which serves as the official newsletter for 15 Indianapolis neighborhoods, offering news about development, arts and entertainment, and from the business community. Thank you for joining me on the aisle. Please subscribe to my podcast, and if you want to hear previous episodes, find them on the All Indiana Podcast Network, or listen to them wherever you get your podcasts. This is Tom Alvarez.
Who will take center stage on the podcast next? Your seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez awaits. Follow Tom on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and make sure to visit tomalvarez.studio. Watch Tom every other Thursday on Lifestyle Live on Wish TV, and make sure to listen every week here on the All Indiana Podcast Network.